salutations. Today we, the opposing house, would like to make an argument and case about how we are with the idea of continuing awards and recognitions in artistic or creative fields, same as the examples in the motion given, like Grammys, Brit Awards, Tony Awards, and many more. By definition of the artistic fields such as music, art, films, and other examples out there that I cannot mention one by one. These are prevalent and widely enjoyed in today's society. Before that, let us define the problem of today. We don't fully agree with the definition given by the government team. While yes, we do agree with the most part, they are missing one crucial part. They discussed about how it is and how they are scored, but they didn't discuss the requirements of how exactly they count as part of the award show. Well, yes, we do agree that many of these award shows have lost their inertia and are not as good as they used to. They have lost their touch, but we should discuss how of the requirements they were able to get into these awards. These already exist, predetermined rules that have been chosen by this competition. As it varies from place to place, a few common ones I've seen are two. First, they have received a title from the majority of the popularity that they have gotten, meaning that they have been acknowledged by how good they are with people with different tastes and background. Second, it has been released by this current year, meaning, for example, from January to December. This means that they cannot be picked willy-nilly. Let's take a look at Ed Sheeran, a famous singer. Now, he was very passionate about music, and he sang to the point where he was homeless. He didn't have a home, and so he was singing in the trainways, trying to make money and trying to make a worth. After years and years of hard work, he was able to receive the popularity he deserved. Meaning, the music wasn't just so wholehandedly. While yes, having connections to strong executives would help a lot, in this case, there are still a lot of other examples of smaller artists who are able to make do and were able to be successful and join these said award shows. Now, here comes our counter arguments to the government team. First, how art is objective. 2, why we should abolish artistic competitions. And 3, why social media is as a form of validation won't help the artists. First, as government team has brought up, art is subjective, and it depends on the eyes of the beholder. Every art, every song, every movie has its own different unique style made by the artists themselves. While yes, this may be true, this doesn't mean it's necessarily subjective in all sense. Art itself has principles and techniques that are very important that make it, well, art. Art also comes from different places from all over the world. For example, drawing a painting, there are techniques and principles built over the years, made by people such as Da Vinci, Van Gogh, Picasso, and many more that make them eye-catching and pleasing to the human eye, that make them deliver the message they want. For example, shading, contrast, composition, and perspective can all be evaluated, scored, and judged. Yes, you can have different perspectives on certain art, but saying a painting that took 5 hours to make and saying a drawing that took 5 seconds to draw are equally as good is inherently wrong. They can simply be judged and simply diminishes the work itself. This applies to music, movies, and lots of other examples as well. These colors can apply to hues, tones, and they can effectively portray the moods of said things. So yes, these are able to define and be scored, meaning they are completely viable and compared to judge. Even with completely varying and different styles, they still stem from a pillar that has made the specific art from where it is, whether it's from another history, another culture. This has proven the art itself to be objective and can be judged, even if there are many interpretations of it. Secondly, these award shows are faulty, unfair, and diminishes art. While even if that were true, the problem of these shows, once again, don't lie within the scoring and requirements itself. It lies within the biases and the judges of the executives. In short, these art shows and award shows have gotten political and are simply unjust. Even if new artists will appear that seem less promising, less judges and executives wouldn't bat an eye to those artists, focusing on which of them can benefit others. If, let's say, an executive can partner with someone that has been consecutively good again and again and again, they want to work with them. And by giving them more awards, they become more trustworthy. And with this will boost their profit and they will help them each other out. For example, according to data analysis, most of these are tied to people who are simply rich with connection with the industry. Also, similarly, as mentioned, they have chosen different races, perhaps their biases, or maybe they don't like the other race, making certain people unlike, even if there are, once again, other examples. So once again, the problem doesn't lie if the system, but this just shows that that it lies between the shows and the people itself. It doesn't matter about the system or the score system. It's the people on how bad it's gotten. The problem lies within the people and how political it is. We shouldn't abolish these competitions just because of these corrupt and unjust people. Instead, we should counterfix for an issue and ordering change. Like a good movie, an example is Sonic movie, where at the first trailer, they didn't have a good design. So people complained and gave an order to change. And eventually, unlike many countries, they were able to, many companies, they were able to change the design. Or YouTube Rewind, where people didn't like how it was for a simple cash grab. People complained and YouTube changed for the better. We propose these three things to remain fair for all contestants. First, transparency in judging. 2, diversity in background for all judges. And 3, have a third person or in case someone else to check about the judgings. It can be us, it can be another third-party company. That's what matters. One example is the ceremony show that is considered fair and impartial is the Grammys. They use a process called the Secret Academy Committee, which is made up of individuals from different backgrounds and areas of expertise with the music industry to evaluate the submissions and determine the winners. The process is designed to ensure that nominations are chosen with the artistic merit and without any bias or favoritism of those connections. 3, using social media is an idea to replace these competitions. This is inherently and could be a worse idea, especially for those artists. Because if we're using social media as an example, there is an algorithm bias, meaning certain things that are trending could just be showing, and those songs with different beats could show otherwise. So this is directly a flaw in the government's flaw. Well, they said like, oh, using the award shows can follow the biases, and social media does the exact same thing. With this algorithmic bias, this would make sure those indie contents could be buried by those who want to get trending and to get it again. While yes, there could be a smaller audience, the feeling of inferiority will eventually happen. I should also mention that social media also has influencer and celebrity dominance, meaning that even if they were to support a song or do a song, this would make them much more famous, which leads them to once again go back to the algorithmic bias, making the smaller artists to have a smaller following and letting them have smaller following and stuff. This also brings up the fact that this is pretty short term. In social media, it is a short-term success. In short, yes, you could go famous, but that is a very rare chance. Getting to hit that algorithmic bias is hard and is a long legacy. We need to make a long legacy, which is why the awards are important, so we can get expertise by experts that have experience. Now, we also like to discuss that this is very important. With this, we can recap all the issues and still help the artists in need without risking the shows. But if we can get rid of those shows and their toxic behavior with the unjust judges, we can help those artists continuously to grow without worrying the diminishing of art. Art is once again also objective and is able to be shown to be done with the pillars of what is done. That's all for me. Thank you. We propose.